Energy Arts family.
Hello there.
Or EEARTS family. EEARTS.
EEARTS. I like EEARTS.
Or both. It's like I like them both.
Yeah, they'll both do.
Just making sure we're working there. Internet's working a little bit slow today, so please do bear with us. So yesterday we had some issues. You go through a process when you upload a video, and it says all checks okay or all checks good, and then it should be good, right? As far as like monetization. So we went through that process, and we were wondering, really, if we were telling things a little bit too plainly yesterday, but we had to share that. And then all of a sudden on EEARTS, right after I uploaded it, instead of being green, it went yellow, which is kind of like a warning sign. And then when I refreshed, it said, here's your page at EEARTS. Why don't you upload a video? There's no content. Mm-hmm. As if the entire channel had been wiped out, as if every video had been taken down. That was like scary.
That was what I call a heart stopper.
Yes.
Because it's everything. You guys are everything to us. I mean, we need to be able to reach you. It's our purpose. It's our destiny. So to have something like that happen like that was just scary.
It was, and we've been so busy with so many things, and we've got like a whole other wave of seeds that we planted, and they've already sprouted up, and they're growing so fast that we're going to have to transplant a ton of stuff quick. And I didn't anticipate them all.
I know.
Growing so fast and so well. It's a good zone for growing, that's for sure. So I wanted to let you guys know, because a lot of people came on to EEARTS don't even know that there's an Evolutionary Energy Arts, which has 66,000 subscribers. It had more. They've rolled it back. They also made it so they've been searching through our old videos, and they've given us strikes for videos we did several years back. So we weren't able to post for a few weeks. But this channel was growing leaps and bounds. As you can see, this video about the tsunami that hit Indonesia, 909,000 views. That was before all the policing that goes on, so to speak, nowadays. Mm-hmm. 260,000 views, 109,000, 104, 102. Because now, if we get 5,000, 6,000, that's good. Of course, those numbers aren't real. They're not real, even though they are suppressed. We do know that. Make sure you're subscribed to both of these channels, because it very well may be that you just don't know. I mean, anything could happen to any channel at any time in these days. And I have been doing some research, so I have another couple of places we're going to start to put videos on. I'll let you know, hopefully in the next couple of days, where we're putting them, so we could have backup to the backup to the backup. We have been posting on Brighteon and Bitchute. Brighteon, honestly, it feels like it's under somebody else's control now. It doesn't feel the same. And it feels like the same sort of policing is going on there at times with certain topics. Now, there's certain topics you could talk about there, such as that word that begins with a V. That's okay, but then there's other things that you can't talk about. Like, it doesn't seem like you're really allowed there to talk about how both parties are really under the same control. See, there's layers and layers and layers to the control that goes on all around us, layer upon layer. As long as you might be able to tell the truth about one subject, but if you tell the truth about too many subjects in one spot where too many people could finally have their little light bulbs go off, they can't have that. As long as they have you picking a side, if you're totally on the right, even though you may feel like you're being totally persecuted, but you're of the mindset and you're making videos that blame everything on the left, everything on the DS, without saying that the DS is actually controlled by the controllers of both parties, then you're okay. So there are a lot of channels out there that have not seen a decrease in subscribers or views, and I would be suspicious. I mean, just use logic here. If these channels are not seeing a decrease in subscribers and views in these times, then somehow they're part of the agenda. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of truths out there where they'll give you one truth again, but you better not have 3 or 4 truths, because then you might actually have an awakened populace, and that's the last thing they want.
Yeah, because at that point, people start figuring stuff out on their own. They start putting, dots together all on their own. They no longer need to go outside for information because they're starting to figure stuff out, and that kind of makes you uncontrollable.
Exactly. And thank you guys too for trying out Medicinal Foods, and many of you guys have been ordering from Medicinal Foods right along. And these are great people. And so when you order, and there's a link at the top of every video, using our link, it does help the channel. It does help us to keep going. And, you could see some of the subjects that they're talking about, pineal awakening protocol. These are our people here.
Yes.
Lots of good stuff here. And this is Sky Cubby. He's the founder of Medicinal Foods. Good people. They're not really in it for the money. Honestly, they're not. When I asked them, how's everything going? They didn't care about how many orders and stuff. They wanted to know, is all the feedback positive?
Yeah.
Are people finding that our products are helping them? That was what the response was. And yeah, I haven't heard anything negative. So that's wonderful. And I want to thank all the Patreons out there before we get going too. And also on Ko-Fi, because on Ko-Fi you could do basically one-time support or monthly, just like Patreon, where it's the same thing. And again, with the main channel demonetized, the main channel was Evolutionary Energy Arts, the original one that I started back in August of 2017. That one. Then the second channel now, we're really worried that more than likely might go the same route. It looks like it's in the crosshairs. Then it's going to be tough for us to keep our head above water, and we couldn't do it without your support. So we do appreciate that. And while I'm thinking about it too, before we get going, because there's a lot of news to do too. Check out our website, Evolutionary Energy Arts. Anybody that needs to set up an appointment for energy work, spiritual coaching, counseling, astrological charts, let us know, and we will get you on board. Usually about a week or two as far as the booking out to get an appointment. And so we do appreciate that as well, and check out some testimonials on there. So guys, arrest warrants issued for 52 fugitive DEMS after Texas Supreme Court slaps down the DEM judge that had previously shot down the governor there, who, by the way, is leading all the polls as well, and likely to be governor again, or maybe he'll be the first president of a newly restored Texan Republic.
Yeah, it could look something very much like that, actually.
Yeah, and maybe that will be expanded to include maybe Oklahoma and maybe Arkansas, and maybe Louisiana, Mississippi. We'll see.
Yep.
Maybe half of New Mexico. Interesting times. Things are changing rapidly, and wow, I mean, the Civil War, it feels like it's already underway, just like the covert global war is already underway.
Oh, yeah. So there's a whole bunch of nail-biting stuff going on these days. It's crazy.
Texas House Speaker Dade Phelan signs 52 civil arrest warrants for absent DEMS. The warrants will be delivered to the House Sergeant at Arms tomorrow morning. The warrants command the sergeant take the absent DEMS into custody, deliver them to the House where they're supposed to do their job. Yes, it's pretty fascinating to see all this go on. There's video here, and this is Representative Ron Reynolds talking and about how they're to be arrested and basically made to do their job instead of taking their vacation in DC in avoidance of taking votes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And, hackers. Now they steal over 600 million of one of the biggest crypto heists ever. $611 million worth of crypto assets.
But
Stolen.
wait, I thought this was like super, super ungettable. I thought it was like there's no way anybody could ever hack anything like that.
Well, it seems to me like this would be way easier than physically breaking into Fort Knox and opening up the door there and discovering there's nothing there, just cobwebs anyway.
Yep, you got a good point there.
It's all been shipped to Nibiru. What? Who said that? That was Zeke. That wasn't me. That was Zeke. A total of 9,468 various crypto tokens valued at 611 million drained from the platform. All this hacking going on, I wonder how much of it is really being done completely at the orders of certain governments. What do you think?
Yeah, well, kind of weird.
Changpeng Zhao, CEO of major cryptocurrency exchange Binance. And by the way, we get offers like every day from cryptocurrencies that want us to advertise for them, like every day. And some say they'll pay us $1,000 to $2,000 for a single ad. And yet, I know a lot of you guys are invested and do believe in it, but we would be more willing to do something on a barter and trade platform. Like if there was a new barter and trade platform, even like popping up locally that was connecting people, that we would advertise because, again, the flash is going to come at some point in time. Everything's going to be fried.
Mm-hmm.
Before that happens, the grid's going to go down for prolonged periods of time. We could see the evidence of this and we know it's coming. How are you going to access your crypto when the grid is down? And the government has said, be ready for 6 months without the grid. How are you going to utilize your crypto when the grid is down for 6 months? I don't know. Is there a plan in place? I don't study it in depth, so I really don't know. But at the same time, I would rather actually have physical silver and gold, and even better yet, I'd really rather have good, rich land, tons of productive soil, lots of seeds, lots of starters going. I'd rather have, a battery bank, a very large, strong battery bank with solar panels and all set up. These are the things I would be looking to do. If I'm out west, I would invest it in water catchment.
Yeah, for sure.
Big time water catchment. Like where we are now, there's so many clouds. The solar thing wouldn't pay off as much as it would when we were in New Mexico or Nevada. Yet, here there's ample water, so we don't really have to worry about the water catchment so much because Mother Nature will take care of that typically on her own. But still not a bad idea. Senate Democrats passed that $3.5 billion budget resolution, a bid to ram through massive spending bill. This is going to revitalize America's infrastructure. And I have to be a wise ass and say, yeah, just in time for the CCP.
Right. Oh, thank you.
Sorry, he's feeling a little frisky tonight. So yeah, you got to wonder, is that what JB's doing? Does he want to welcome in? Boy, I'm gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, careful. We almost lost the other channel. Be very careful.
Please, I was gonna say, does he want to welcome in the blue hats to perhaps some beautiful brand new roads and infrastructure to help the vehicles get across a little bit better? Mm-hmm. Navy voyage to the Pacific demonstrates Germany's intent to be global military power. Well, as you read a little bit farther, a German battleship, the Bayern, which is Bavaria frigate, set off for Asia to make a long journey to the Pacific Ocean. Why did they choose to send a warship to a location more than 5,000 nautical miles away from the German coast? It suggests Berlin is attempting to not only become a major global military power once again, but also to join the Anglo-Axis of the US, UK, and Australia. And I would add in, Japan. It might not be the Anglo part of it, but it's part of it. Now that axis, that's automatically for those of us that are history buffs, especially if you're looking at war history. Axis was the term that was used to describe Nazi Germany and Japan and Italy. So here they're putting that particular axis term with the U.S., U.K., Australia, and again Japan will be on board with those. So it's perhaps is going to be, well, it's going to be in the same region as the Seventh Fleet. Also there is Russia's Pacific Fleet. Also there is the Chinese Navy. And also there is the Japanese Navy, as well as the navies of North and South Korea, Australia as well. So another ramping up. What's your thoughts?
Well, I feel it. Everyone's feeling this intensity going on, like this need to get ready and get prepared, and that's across the board. So yeah.
This video shows the Taliban capturing a MI35 attack helicopter. There were so many things that were just left there for them.
Wow.
You gotta say, guys, PPL? No, that's wrong. No, PPP, 3 Ps, right? Okay. Piss poor planning.
Yeah.
Or is it piss poor planning?
Are we allowed to say pith? Oops.
Pith? As in a seed?
We can say pith.
I thought you said pith.
Pith.
Pith is like seeds.
Well, kind of like I don't want to really say piss because that's a cuss word.
Well, it's okay. So, was it all just basically poor planning? Just being in a rush to get out of there, and then yet we're using B-52s to still bomb? And yet we're still moving equipment into Syria? What's really going on with all this? All the supplies they picked up is just incredible. They just had a bonanza. Mm-hmm. It was like Christmas for the Taliban. 460,000 customers without power. Severe thunderstorms hit Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois. And Michael in Michigan, hey Michael, just a little shout out, say hi. He was sharing that they were out without power for a while. And these severe storms rolled in through parts of the U.S. Midwest on Tuesday night. Again, over 460,000 customers without power. That's becoming the norm. Mm-hmm. We're seeing like some intense action all over the globe with issues, again, with the grid. So we have a grid emergency declared in New Zealand. Cities plunge into darkness. Polar blast brings nationwide all-time power demand. Summer, winter, same issues, just different temperatures. Yep. So power supply demand in New Zealand reached an all-time nationwide high on Monday, August 9th, after rapidly deepening low-pressure system moved east across the central parts of the country, bringing in heavy snow, severe gale, and also frigid temperatures. So they declared a grid emergency. And then this is, again, why do we have a generator? Do we have a solar bank if it's applicable? Lots of things to think about. Meanwhile, the Dixie Fire destroys 893 structures, threatens 16,000 more, second largest fire ever. So we keep setting these records, and it's interesting too because there's Californians that say that they don't notice any difference from years past. We do see those comments that come up, and then other people that seem to have been in the crosshairs of this that speak about just how bad everything truly is. So this is massive. At 490, almost 500 million acres as of August 10th, second largest fire in California history. Tons of video, tons of cars melted to nothing, tons of trees still standing.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Tons of stuff that doesn't make any sense.
There's a lot of question marks in this world. But then again, I think yesterday's video on Evolutionary answered a lot. Mm-hmm. And it did answer and resonate with 95% of the people, which was good because, I think it was stating something that's very controversial, but yet when you can really look at the bigger picture, it all makes sense. And I've studied the Bible going back to being 5 years old. read it cover to cover, first time, cover to cover, sat down and said, I'm going to read every book in order, cover to cover, take my time, at 11 years old. And ultimately, it just hit that, what we're talking about is extraterrestrial, interdimensional beings.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you read the Anunnaki writings, the Babylonian, Sumerian, cuneiform writings, of which we have hundreds of thousands of them, it all makes sense. And then just start looking at all the different global traditions around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Native American legends of reptilian beings living inside the earth, legends of beings living in the sea. And then we watch movies like, what was that movie with Jason Momoa about Atlantis?
I don't know.
I forget what it was, but you see like a dome over a city, and the city is just fine. There's air in there and everything. There's just like a protective dome. And you think about technology and you realize, well, just a little bit ahead of us, they would have the technology to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
As we see here, huge California fire grows, Montana blaze threatens towns. Yeah, the West is definitely on fire, and as we've had a lot of record temps falling too. And we have a lot of bone-dry trees, brush, and grass. And, here we're talking about Greenville and all the destruction with that Dixie fire. And then in southeastern Montana, communities in and around northern Cheyenne Indian Reservation ordered to evacuate as the uncontrolled Richard Spring Fire grew amid erratic winds as well. It's just continuing. More than 40 feared buried under rubble. Major landslide in Himachal Pradesh. This area gets hit with tremendous everything. Again, some of the areas on the globe that are very, very challenging would be like Indonesia. Again, everything under the sun could happen. Philippines as well. And this area, we see tons of landslides, floods, crazy storms. And it, for whatever reason, maybe it's the makeup of the very ground itself, just a crazy number of lightning strikes that take lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. So extremely sad.
Mount Etna is growing, actually all the way up to a record 11,014 feet in Italy, as we've had 50 paroxysmal eruptive episodes since February 16th. So it's increased its height to a record 11,000 plus feet. Etna's growing. Will Vesuvius go? That would be curious. Then we're really looking at Edgar Casey's prophecy there. Continued problems after massive beach sewage spill, now hitting water supply mid-drought. Yeah, and problems at a Los Angeles sewage treatment plant caused a massive sewage spill into Santa Monica Bay. How lovely last
yummy.
month. And it has severely reduced the region's water recycling ability, forcing officials to divert millions of gallons of clean drinking water at a time of worsening drought conditions. Again, the worst possible scenario just seems to always kind of happen.
But of course, it's just a coincidence. Of course.
Coinky dinks all over the place, guys. And blistering drought, California farmers are ripping up precious almond trees. What a waste. What a horrible waste. I mean, these things take years to come together, and now they're just being ripped out of the ground because they can't water them. They will most likely look for something that doesn't need as much water to put in its place, quicker yield. What a waste. As it says here, breaks your heart. It sure does.
Wow. Yeah.
It's really sad what we're seeing going on all across the globe. And again, this is what happens when we don't have balance between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And, to somebody that has not looked into anything like that, and you're just watching CNN or MSNBC or Fox or what have you, you might say, what the heck are you talking about? But our society is out of balance. It's completely unbalanced for a reason. And, what it is control. Tropical storm Fred, navigating towards Florida. So it looks likely that it's going to skim along the west coast, most likely. Of course, this is still very much subject to change. And perhaps make a landfall as a tropical storm somewhere on the panhandle. We'll have to watch this. As you can see, it's going to be in range of Florida come late on Friday. So Friday going into the weekend, we'll have to see what happens. As you see, up to 8 inches of rain possible in certain areas. Right now Hispaniola is basically on the target board there, and then Cuba. So the track's going to make all the difference. If it rides to the north through the channels, it could get stronger. Probably will get stronger when it gets to the Keys. As we look at the spaghetti models, but you see they've highlighted, do not use this map to make decisions. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, why are we looking at it then?
Right,
We're
right.
trying to formulate opinions
Yeah.
and make some deductions
Yeah.
about likelihoods. So we'll have to watch this one. It wouldn't take much for it to jot over all the way to Louisiana, or perhaps be a little bit more towards the east. We'll have to watch it. And again, it's not always about the wind strength. It's the flooding. It does more damage typically. Polar cold is blasting Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. Brazil corn output slashed after historic freezes. Portugal suffered a colder than average July as well. It's that the extremes have gotten extremely extreme, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, can you say that 3 times in a row? It's true.
Yes, and all this leads up to crop loss. Crop loss, besides obviously, in many cases, people losing their homes, their livelihoods. We have a slow-moving fireball over southern Spain as opposed to a fast-moving fireball. I'm still waiting for the one that says, slow-moving fireball over southern Spain makes a U-turn, decides to go to Tunisia. But don't worry, it's just a meteor.
Well, we sort of kind of have had that in a way.
We have, haven't we? Things pretty close to that.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a rare recurrent nova visible to the unaided eye in the constellation Ophiuchus. And so this is actually part of a binary system. It's a recurrent nova system located about 5,000 light years away from Earth. Recurrence rate of about 15 to 20 years. Last outburst was in 2006. And again, binary systems are very, very common. Some think we're in a binary system. Some think we're in a trinary system.
Mm-hmm. I know. Who knows?
Do you get anything on there being any ETs around this?
Yes, but I would have to be under a little bit to give detail.
To give some detail,
Yeah.
Okay. And I just thought this was hilarious. The comment says, I've seen dogs better trained than this. This is JB, and he's kind of walking almost as if in a trance. He walks down the roadway here. The Secret Service guy is pointing to him. Go ahead and turn. Go ahead and turn. Go ahead and turn. Right? And he's making his walk down. Go ahead and turn. Go ahead and turn. You're supposed to go that way, sir. You're supposed to go. Well, where's he going? He's running behind the bushes. What's he going to do behind the bushes? Where's he going? I don't know. Did somebody offer him a lollipop or something?
Oh boy.
I don't know, but he wasn't paying attention, and it's actually rather hilarious. And again, that's the leader of the free world.
Well, you just look at it and you cringe, and you're like, oh my gosh, this guy can't even handle himself walking down a sidewalk and, having someone point this way, go this way, sir, go this, because he was talking, he had to have been saying, sir.
Yeah, and he's muttering.
Way,
you can see his lips moving and stuff.
Yeah, and he still missed it.
He totally missed it. And again, who could really believe that's the leader of the free world, right? It just shows you. It just shows you. But then again, we talked about that G word, gullible. And unfortunately, for so long, the vast majority of the population has been extremely gullible. Mm-hmm. Do you know, and this is true, there was, it was either a town or a city in the U.S. I forget how big it was. Because we were talking about, the London Tower Bridge that was stuck up. Mm-hmm. They had somebody reach out to them and ask them if they wanted to buy the London Bridge, and they said, how much? And they were told an amount, and they said, yeah, sure, we'll buy it. And they thought they were getting the Tower Bridge, and they weren't.
Right.
You know, they were getting some sort of, you know, tinker toy.
Oh my gosh.
You know, but they spent thousands, you know, tens of thousands or whatever it was. You know, there was a famous circus man, P.T. Barnum. Do you guys know P.T. Barnum? I know it because, you know, I grew up in Connecticut, and in Bridgeport, Connecticut, which is where P.T. Barnum was from. And where he's buried, there's actually a museum that's all about the circus, Barnum and Bailey Circus.
Mm-hmm.
And he made a famous statement: there's a sucker born every minute.
Yes.
And unfortunately, on this planet, we've been a planet of billions of suckers in that sense, in that we've bought this. We've bought hook, line, and sinker that somebody that can't even take a direction or understand where to go when somebody's telling them, take your left, and he keeps walking straight.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not the only thing. We've heard him just up at the podium and say, well, the $3 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just gibberish comes out afterwards. And totally incoherent. There's nothing upstairs.
Well, not to mention the hot mic things, you know, where you catch him saying, well, what's this for? Oh, just sign it, sir.
Yes.
You know?
Put your X here, Mongo. Okay. Next. God, we need some more Mel Brooks movies.
Oh,
and we need some more Austin Power movies.
Oh, yes.
We got to laugh at this stuff. I mean, you can't make it up.
It's best medicine.
So this is from Urban Survival, and they're all about survival. They're not nutritionists, and so they're not about optimal health. So they're going to give you their opinion on 20 best protein sources, and you know, wouldn't always agree, but these are just ideas. And they're saying beef jerky, but you know, you can make any jerky. You can make ostrich jerky if you happen to have some ostriches nearby. You can make bison jerky, turkey jerky, chicken jerky, all sorts of jerky. Yeah, you dry it out, it'll last a really long time. Protein, you know, in starvation situation, you do need protein. And it depends how much you need, totally depends on what you are doing. And I'm one that's, you know, basically tested the limits. As in my youth, I used to work out a ton. And for a while, my best friend was a power lifter. And I was a gym rat, you know, of a sort for a long, long time. And I tried to keep up with him and have done a 405-pound bench for 3 reps and over a 500-pound free weight squat for 12 reps. And, you know, things like that when I was interested in doing those type of things. And most definitely, if you're working hard in that sense, I noticed that if I wasn't taking in 1 gram of protein at least per pound of body weight, then I wasn't going to be that strong. However, protein is tough to digest, so it is and can be hard on the kidneys. If you're looking for longevity and you're not, you know, basically building muscle, you're not doing physical activity like a construction worker or somebody that's digging ditches all day or moving heavy items all day. You know, bodybuilders of the sort need a lot more protein than the average person. If you're the typical male that's basically working in an office and maybe you go out for a jog here and there, you could probably get by with anywhere between 50 and 100 grams of protein and be perfectly fine. You know, the minimum I would think for just maintenance is maybe about 50 or 60 grams per day, just to keep up with, you know, what you need at a bottom line level. But everybody is unique, and that would be, you know, for maybe a 180-pound male. And again, that doesn't mean peak performance, because if you are doing some strenuous exercise, if you're going to the gym and lifting weights 3, 4, 5 times a week, you know, you're going to need more protein than that. Maybe somewhere between 100 grams, 125 grams a day. would lend to achieving increases in strength and staying in optimal condition. So everybody is unique, situation's unique, what you have going on in your body is unique too. So say you're suffering from cancer, I wouldn't want to overload the protein. I would personally go more to a ketogenic diet with healthy fats being the primary source of calories. So everybody is unique again. No one size fits all. But these are ideas. Black beans, yes. I mean, beans last forever. We finally got ourselves situated where there's just really just like not even one box left to unpack. Yay!
Oh boy, it's been fun though because this place is so small. Mike is so well, he's organized and he's really good at putting stuff. Do you guys remember that show? It's not Jenga, but the one where the things
like Tetris.
Tetris, yes.
Yeah.
He's such a good man. You know, everything is going into place like Tetris around here. He's doing a great job.
Well, you come and visit, and you would see that we go for optimal productivity and storage.
Yes.
We don't go for looks, so we don't have fancy furniture and the like. And really, we've taken what is our dining area and it's just storage.
Yeah.
But it's purposeful, because we have 25 and 50-pound bags of rice and beans and lentils in there, as well as, different flours and oats. And, I don't even remember, all the stuff that we've jammed in there.
Yep. Very functional.
It's functional. That's what it has a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Purpose. Functionality over form and style.
Mm-hmm.
Canned salmon. Yeah, think about different options. Canned tuna, obviously. Salmon, and then later on down here they have sardines as well. Even canned chicken. You'll find that you can actually find in some stores free range organic canned chicken. It's a possibility. Check your dates, guys. My God, check your dates. I went into the local grocery store here because I always keep like 24 veggie broths, and then we're making Zeke and Sassy's food again. So I'll throw like organic chicken broth in as well and keep like a couple cases of those in stock. I went into the local grocery store. The dates were horrible. They were all going to expire in the next month or two. So if I bought enough that would last me 6 months, they're going to be expired. And the same thing happened once when I ordered from Amazon when the whole pandemic was starting. And I got in stuff in an order that the dates were only 3 months out, and it just totally sucked. And that begs to mind, like, what if you can't get out and, we're on a lockdown, martial law, and you have to rely on whoever's shipping your food in to give you good dates. That's another thing to be aware of. Oh, and then we happened to go to the Walmart. Yes, we hate Walmart, but we had no choice because we were like really down to like zilch. And I had checked on Amazon. Amazon was actually, for the same size, it was 33% higher than what I was finding at the local grocery store or at Walmart. Now, Walmart, the dates were about 18 months out. And maybe it's simply because they churn a lot more product. But you got to check your dates, please. Chickpeas, edamame, eggs. Of course, you might not be able to store them too long. I know there's some tricks. Our sister Nicole knows some tricks.
Nicole knows tricks, and Miss Talia knows tricks. Yes.
Yes, Talia. Hey, Talia.
Hey, Talia.
Hemp seeds. Yeah, hemp seeds. Affordable edition. Kidney beans, lentils, oats, peanut butter. Yes, peanut butter as well. Now, I'm planning on showing you guys how we make our own homemade cashew butter. And that's really easy. But, I'm going to do a video on that for you guys too, because Cindy loves cashews. Now, I know some nuts are better than others as far as mold and fungus. And so, some people will bring up, don't eat cashews, switch to something else. Well, I love pecans. I'm addicted to Texas pecans. Peas. Yes, and we do have like 25-pound bags of peas as well. Powdered milk, pumpkin seeds, And, you know, before I go too far past the powdered milk, if you use almond milk, coconut milk, things like that, I know some people might be still using soy milk. There's a lot of options out there now. There's cashew milk too. You know, of course, I'll always go straight to the refrigerated section and I check the label and make sure there's no carrageenan in it. But you can also go inside the aisles and get some that doesn't have to be refrigerated and check the dates for longer storage. Pumpkin seeds, all sorts of seeds as well. Quinoa, sardines, as we were saying, sunflower seeds, whey protein powder, and you know, you could also look into other vegetarian protein powders. And whey powder, you know, whey powder has been shown to be very effective with cancer patients, you know, providing amino acids. No growth hormones, no antibiotics. You want it to be non-GMO. Really important. And this last article is about the fact that apes say hello and goodbye, and they actually judge each other's politeness, as study shows. I thought this was cute, but you know, when we look at the size of the brains of some of our cousins over there, so to speak, they're pretty large. And when we look at the whole theory of transmigration of a soul, which what we've gotten from the galactics and the guides is that, you know, it is correct. You know, life starts out at a basic fundamental level. The soul does, and progresses through lifetime after lifetime. It's a growth thing. So at some point in time, these two guys right here, you know, they might be wearing suits. They might be CEOs. They might do a better job, at least for the people working under them, than, say, Bezos and some of the others. As I'm sure that some of us have thought of some of these people, like Gil Bates, in these terms. And in actuality, these guys are probably truly better mannered and more polite in their sincerity.
Absolutely agreed, 100%.
So thanks for being part of the family. Thanks for sharing the videos, waking people up. Thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon, also with Medicinal Foods. Stay prepared out there. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.